Hello Flosstube world, and welcome to my channel, which is all about cross stitch. I am Marlisa Stitchy Noir on Instagram and YouTube, and now that this is my second Flosstube, I can say welcome to anyone new who is watching, and for anyone who has returned, thank you so much also for coming back and checking my content out again. So today I'm going to be doing a mid-year WIP parade, which I'm really excited about since this is my second Flosstube, and now you can see about all the WIPs that I am working on, that is works in progress. I am not someone who has a lot of WIPs. I generally go between 10 and 15, and I think I've got 15 today to show you, and that's generally how I try to finish, and I try to fully finish my pieces as I go. So that's the way I like to work, and this is in not any particular order, except that the ones that are first are going to be more of the ones that I'm actively working on. Then I've got some seasonal, holiday, and finally some stitch-alongs that we'll discuss later. So to start with, some summary kinds of stitches, and this is one that I was about to start my last video. This is Leave a Light On by Teresa Lehman. Lovely lighthouse and rolling waves here. And this is on 14 count Navy Aida, and here's where I am so far. So the house is rather large, and we're working on this roof, sort of very subtle color change tile effect there, and I'm using the called for colors. And it is going to be kind of large. I can unfold it for you and give you a sense of how this is a little bit big for the pattern, but it's not going to be small. So I am really looking forward to hopefully finishing that one before the summer is over. We'll see how things go. Next is a piece. It's a full coverage piece, but it's a small full coverage, and it is a road trip from Art Cross Stitches, and this is what it looks like. And as I said in my last video, this was a gift from my friend Janine, who gave it to me on the occasion of starting an epic road trip with my husband on Route 66. And here's where I am on it so far. And you can see from the design, you know, I did it halfway, the halfway mark last time I showed it, and now we're just inching along on the other halfway. So it's going to be circular, and I just love the colors, which really do reflect what we saw on our road trip out west from Chicago to Santa Monica and going through Arizona, New Mexico, and all of those places where you saw these wonderful colors and rock formations and so forth. Along the same lines, on the road trip vibe, is a kit that I got. It's a DMC kit, and this one has the extremely creative title of Motel. That's what it's called, and that's what it is, but you know. So this came from the clearance sale at Joann's, which broke my heart to have to say goodbye to my Joann store. They had all three of these in this series, this Route 66 series. I also have the gas station, or it's like more like a gas pump, Lone in the Wilderness. And the third one, I can't remember what it was, but it didn't really appeal to me. These really did seem to capture the Route 66 vibe. So the kit comes with 14 count Navy Aida, along with the thread and everything you need, and a hoop for finishing like it is in the picture. And here's where I am so far. It's an easy stitch. If you can find these and you're interested and you like the subject matter, it's easy, and I think it's going to look really cute when it's framed, and hopefully then I can put it in my Route 66 memorabilia area that we have now. So that is coming along also. And so those three, I don't know if I'll finish the road trip this summer. I would really like to, so I can kind of get all that finished and fully finished and get set up, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so now let's shift gears a little bit, and I'm going to show the big full coverage cross stitch that I'm working on, which is Medusa Imperatrix, and the designer is Medusa Doll Maker. Sorry for the bit of a glare there. The designer is Medusa Doll Maker for Gecko Rouge, and this is very big, and you'll see it in a minute, but I mean, it's just the details are gorgeous. And I know that sometimes with full coverages, you can say, well, maybe I can cut off the bottom, but it's really not going to work here, and then I'd lose the lovely skull. So I'm powering through. It is, I believe, my oldest WIP. I started it in August of 2022. It was a gift from my brother and sister-in-law for my birthday. And so I am trying to just work through it. So let's see, here it is. I'm gonna back up a bit so you can see all of it. And at this point, let me get it a bit closer so you can see where I am. At this point, I am almost 50% through. So right here is about the page finish. I'm about halfway through this page, and that page is going to mark 50% on this. Actually more, because the final 4 pages aren't full pages. So when I hit this point, I'll know that I am past the 50% mark. So she is beautiful. I love her. She's going to be just quite the showpiece when she's done. I love all things Medusa. I mean, look at her fingernails, her lips. That was a great moment when I got to that part. And I work on this twice a week. Wednesdays, so I'll be working on her tonight, Wednesdays and Sundays. I try to keep that routine so I can make progress without getting burned out. And I keep to it pretty well, I think, pretty consistently. So that is on 16 count easy grid Aida. Nothing special there because you won't even see the fabric afterward. The next one is also a big project. This one, and I'll show you the photo of the design. This is First Flight by Passiona Ricomo. And it's also large. I apologize, I don't have the stitch count at the ready right now, but I'll try to do better on that in the future. But this is where I am. This is on 18 count picture this plus Sprite. And I haven't gotten much further than what I showed you in the last video. I am now working on this part right here, which is the little cherub girl. And it's, you know, it's not easy to see. It's very iridescent. There's a lot of blends and metallics, and it's beautiful. It's not full coverage, but it's dense in the parts that it is. So I'm not really sure how much I have done on this at this point. The lion's share of her dress. I think I might be 50% done. I hope so anyway. But it's let me show it to you again. This is the sun and the clouds, and her dress is just magnificent. And there is more of it to come on the top and bottom, but I think I've maybe gotten through the most difficult part of this. So this was this is a very special stitch to me. It reminds me of my mother. So that's First Flight. The next one, this one is called Must Be Possible. It's a pattern from the Black Needle Society, and this came directly from their website. So it reads, "The impossible could not have happened, therefore the impossible must be possible in spite of appearances." An Agatha Christie quotation. And I believe Arthur Conan Doyle had a similar quote attributed to him as well. But I am doing this on 16 count Elephant Run by Fox and Rabbit, and here's where I am. So it's a lot of it's a lot of letters, and I can't work on it for long stretches because just the sheer size of the lettering kind of wears me down a little bit. And the gold is beautiful. It's a petite treasure braid, I believe. And it's coming out just really nice and lovely. I'm going to hang this in my office. I teach a detective fiction class. And so this will be a great addition to my office cross stitch that I've got in there. So again, that's Must Be Possible by the Black Needle Society. Okay, so now we're going to get into some seasonal pieces. So these are ones that have been put away till the season comes. And the first one is a Halloween one. It's my only Halloween one, actually, that I'm currently working on, but I am about to start a few more. Love Halloween. I try to finish at least 2 Halloween pieces a year. So this one is a holdover from last year, and it is Morticia's Second Line by Dirty Annie's. Lots of wonderful stuff going on there. Bourbon Street inspired. And I'm doing this on 14 count lapis lazuli by Silk Weaver. And here's where I am. So I finished, this is the edge of that border on that side. So I'm going to be moving over here to this side and tackling that hearse carriage, which is a lot of dark stitching, which is fine. I don't mind that. But I'm liking the way it's turning out on this very blue fabric, and I just love the headdress of the horse and the roses and all of that. So I think this is going to be a real lovely piece. And this is a pretty accurate take on the fabric as well. So more Halloween to come. If you continue watching my channel, you'll see a lot of Halloween next time. We'll all be definitely in the throes of getting Halloween going. Okay, so then I also have some autumn pieces that I'm working on. And these are all, again, holdovers from last year. I started them, and hopefully we'll finish them this time, as well as maybe start another one. So this next one is from Ink Circles. It's Red's Treehouse. Love squirrels, I love hedgehogs. And this one is so cute with his little treehouse happening there. So this is on 14 count lamb's wool Aida. I apologize for the nasty little thread there hanging out, and here's where I am. I am an Aida stitcher. It's darker than what's showing up in the fabric. So, and I stitch in hand. Mostly, I'll show you an exception to that in a minute, but so that's going to be, I think, very cute when it's done. This one is not just autumn, but a Thanksgiving piece. So this is The Most Wonderful Feast by Sue Hillis Designs. And I am doing this on a 16 count, I don't know. Not really sure. Don't think it's Silk Weaver, but not really sure. But here's where I am. It's just a neutral. I think a lot of neutrals would work with this, but I absolutely love the colors and all of the gradations of the lettering and all the little details. So I'm really going to be enjoying getting this going again. We host Thanksgiving at our house, so my Thanksgiving decor has been growing and growing over the years. This will make a nice addition to it. Okay, and then Christmas, I have a couple of Christmas WIPs. This one is Christmas Parade by Cottage Garden Samplings. I know a lot of people have done this, worked on this. So cute. I love the way all the animals have their heads proudly up as they're prancing along behind Santa. Just absolutely love it, love it, love it. So this one is on 16 count Touch of Gray Aida. And I last season I just wanted to get Santa done, and I did. So we've got Santa, and we've got the squirrel behind him, and that's where we are. So I have decided, let me show you the pattern again. I've decided not to do all of the letters. I know that's what makes it a sampler, but I'm not really a fan of lettering. I have to decide, am I going to do the hearts? I think I want something to fill the space, but I want it to look okay. I don't want it to look strange or anything like that. So, you know, the hearts are placed in conjunction with the lettering. So I'll just have to start to fill it in and see how that looks. The border on the top and the bottom I'm going to keep. And then maybe the motifs as well, if it doesn't look like it's hanging in space. I'm not really sure how that's going to work at this point. But anyway, here's where I am, and I absolutely love Santa. He's just so wonderful. So that is going to be coming out again soon for Christmas stitching. And this one is my other Christmas WIP. And this is from Stitchy Princess. And she's on Etsy, and it's called Santa on the Roof. And this is, I'm so sorry about the glare. It's more of a purple in real life. So, you know, what she used. So sorry, there we go. And when I said I normally stitch in hand, this particular one, I was stitching on a Silk Weaver Solo fabric, and it was really tight. The holes were tight, and it was definitely a 14 count, which I would not really need to put it on a hoop, but I put this one on a nerd just to make it easier for me to see the holes. And here's where I am. So I don't know, it was just a Silk Weaver Solo, so no color, but I chose a gray instead of the purple in the model, but I think it's coming out just fine. And getting there. I love Stitchy Princess's designs. She's Ukrainian, and I stitched a Slavic snow couple, I think last year or the year before, which is just adorable. And she has so many cute patterns. So if you're not familiar with her, I'll link her, you know, below. But she's really wonderful and going through a lot right now in her real life. So so check her out if you like that sort of style. And that is essentially the totality of my regular WIPs at this point. Okay, so let me then get into the other kinds of WIPs, so the stitch alongs. And I'm really happy to be bringing this up because Kenny Stitches on Instagram and here on YouTube is hosting a stitch along for his I think it's for his birthday next month, but it's definitely going on next month. And it's called the Abandoned Sal. So it's all about picking up your abandoned stitch along WIPs that you either couldn't keep up with or stopped midway or whatever, never finished anyway. And picking it up and trying to get them done. So I have some in this category, which I'm going to be happy to show you. So I'm gonna start with the ones that actually are the least promising at this point, and then go to the ones that are the two that are the most promising. I've got 4 in all here. So I've got the first one is the Frosted Pumpkin Arctic Animals stitch along, and this is what it looked like because it's done now. This is what it looked like. And it's very cute, and it's got all the cute Arctic animals in it, and many of you have done it. Many of you know about it if you haven't actually stitched it, if you're a fan of Frosted Pumpkins. So this one I had lots of trouble with from the get-go, and I'll tell you about that. It is on 14 count Picture This Plus Nocturne. Gorgeous color, gorgeous quality of the fabric, just a joy to stitch on. And here's all I have, the little Arctic fox. Now, what happened to me was I started it and I stitched the entire fox, and then I realized I got the orientation wrong. I was doing it like this, horizontal, not vertical. I've been stitching over 25 years, and that's the first time that's ever happened to me to make that kind of mistake. I've made other kinds of mistakes, but not that kind. So I had just finished, and it was like, and I'm like, how is this going to go with all these animals? Well, it was wrong, and that was the problem. So I frogged him. I took him out because this fabric was the fabric, right? So I frogged him. Then immediately before I thought, I'm not going to put it in timeout. I have got to just get back on it, or else I won't get back on it. So then I just did this much, and then I put it down, and I don't know what's going to happen with this. I think many people who I saw stitch this decided that they would not do the signs that said the animal names on them, which I was thinking at the beginning, maybe I'm going to do that too. I'm not going to do the animal names, but I'm just not sure how it's going. I mean, I pay maybe an inordinate amount of attention to the world of the cross stitch. Like, does this make sense within the world of the piece? And I feel like without the names, which is almost like here's a gallery of Arctic animals. What is the meaning of them all just sort of being there all together with each other? You know, so I don't know. But I'm not really thrilled with the name thing either. So it's just so adorable. The animals are just, you know, I love them. So I can't really figure out where to go with this one. I don't really want it to be a UFO, but I don't know. So we'll see. But right now, I don't foresee myself working on this in the near future. So there's that. Okay, the other one that's not so promising at this point is the Satsuma Street Monster House. So if you watched my first video, you saw me talk about Satsuma Street a little bit, the Zodiac, and I've done many patterns, many of Jodi's patterns, and I love her as a designer. I did which maybe I'll show if I do a Halloween finishes parade or something. I did the, oh my gosh, it's the Day of the Dead one. Now I can't think of the title, but I did it as a bell pull, and I made it into a bell pull. And it just was beautiful, and I love her use of color. So I started doing Monster House, and this was on 16 count oyster shell from Fox and Rabbit. And here is what it looked like when it finished up. So I started it, I was on target with it, and I got this far. Hang on. And I really like the way it's looking on the fabric. I think oyster shell is a great choice for the fabric. So this was the first piece. I think that was the first release of it. And I really like that, but then I got a little behind, and then I started seeing what the next parts were, and I really wasn't entirely thrilled with, like, you know, the werewolf didn't really do much for me, and I kind of liked pieces of it, but not the whole thing. And I've seen this, people have finished it, and it fully finished it. It looks gorgeous, and I think Gary from Garon Stitchery, I think I saw that he finished it recently. He had it framed in a shiny orange frame. It looks beautiful. So I don't know where I'm gonna go with this. I was thinking maybe I would stitch just part of it. Maybe I would just go up instead of doing the sides, and not do all of it and the parts that I didn't really like that much. I don't know. I haven't really decided on that. So again, I hate to abandon it because I love Satsuma Street as a designer, and I have done now this much of it. I love the skeleton butler with his little cocktail there. I mean, it's just awesome. So I don't know what's going to happen with this one. So right now, I mean, it is coming up on Halloween, and naturally I have joined another Sal, which is the Tiny Modernist vintage Halloween Sal that she's doing now. Do you see it here as a WIP? No, you don't, because I haven't started it yet. So we'll see. We'll see what comes in the next few weeks when Halloween starts to get rolling. Okay, so now here are a couple of WIPs that are more promising that I really think I am going to finish in the near future. And one of them I'm going to start, which I have to decide, I'm going to go along on Kenny's Abandoned Sal. So I have to decide which one of these. So the first one that I'll show you is the Greenhouse of Oddities from Lola Crow, which again, very popular. Sal, I did the Haunted Library and I loved how it came out. So this one, I was not as successful in getting there. I think I got to the 4th installment of it, and it is on 16 count Spooky Hollow from Fabric Flare, which I think really is working out well as the color, and it's just gorgeous. I hope that I can get back into this. I've seen it finished so many times, and it's just wonderful. And so, I mean, just one thing about Lola Crow's patterns is all the little details. If you've ever done any of her patterns, you see that she can get so much out of just a very small stitching area, as far as seeing how things emerge. And look at this little yellow poison dart frog, who I love, and all of these. There's a little mole, and then all of the plants. And what she does also, if you've done any of these, she has an informative guide with information about, in this case, all the plants. What are they, or what are the animals, and is there a symbiotic relationship with the animals and the plants? And there are historical figures in this one as well. And she includes all this information. So every time you have an installment, you really learn a lot of interesting stuff. I also have bought the Deadly Aquarium. I have fabric and everything. I haven't started that one yet, but it runs along in the same way, in the sense of learning about the marine life that she includes in that stitch along. So if and her products, which were, I think, only on available digitally, my LNS cross stitch cupboard is now carrying them in hard copy form. So that is now a possibility for you. Ask your shop to maybe carry them, because then she has a lot of information, and buying the pattern like that, you get it all, and it's beautifully laid out, and great paper, great colors. And so in any case, if you're interested in Lola Crow's patterns, definitely check out what you can get from your LNS as well as online. But anyway, this is going to be finished. I'm fairly confident. Just have to get back going on it. I think once I get rolling, I should be fine. So there's that. Greenhouse of Oddities. And then finally, and this is, I think, my biggest WIP that needs attention, and really it's a kind of a tragedy it's not getting the attention it needs. And this is Dark Queen of the Earth from Autumn Lane. And this was a stitch along a couple of years ago now, I think. It was kind of an epic stitch along. There were 2 versions of it, and then multiple ways to customize the pattern within each version. So it was a big undertaking for Cassandra and Aaron, but it was gorgeous. I did this version of it, which was sort of the alternate version. I love how the thorns and the branches are kind of emerging from her head. You can see the other version online if you go to their website. I don't even know if this is available to buy at this point, if it's been released yet. There was a Dark Queen of the Sea. I didn't do that one, but many people did. And they were planning, I know, to do the other 2 elements, but nothing has happened so far. So I'd love to see that happen. But anyway, so here's where I am. And this is on 14 count Opal Nightshade from Under the Sea Fabrics. And this was a custom color for this stitch along. I mean, all the stitching is done. What's left? Okay, let me correct that. All the cross stitching. What's left? Back stitching and beading. And I mean, she's just beautiful. There were parts of it that were a struggle to get through And once it came time for the backstitching, the beading, instead of just going right through it and forging ahead, I just kind of let it sit. And that was the killer for this one, I think. And that, I know some of you, I'm sure, have gone through that. So I just need to do it. And I may not even do all the beading, and I'm going to tell myself that, so maybe it won't be so overwhelming. But she needs the back stitching. You can't really have it without it. She's just so gorgeous, though. I mean, and the fabric is just stunning with her, and I put so much work into it. I mean, this was a year-long sal, and there was a lot there. But I just have to get back to it. So I'm going to decide which one by the time August hits that I'm going to focus on for Kenny's abandoned sal. And if you have one that you think would be fun to take on again, I encourage you to join that too, because I think that's going to be fun to see what everybody's pulling out as far as their abandoned or no longer abandoned stitch along pieces. So those are my WIPs, and I think there's 15 altogether. I have a couple that I'm not showing today because I'm fairly confident they're going to be UFOs for reasons that maybe maybe I'll do a little UFO piece sometime about why these things are probably not gonna ever see the light of day anymore. But we'll see. So next time, if you come back and see me again, Halloween is going to happen. I am going to start pulling out, I've already kind of started working back on Morticia's second line. I've got at least 2 or 3 Halloween starts on deck to get going. This season, we'll see how far we can get. And I know that my Just Cross Stitch Halloween issue is waiting for me at the cross stitch cupboard. So next time I get there, I know that that's going to be potentially get some Halloween small stitching maybe going as well. So that is what is coming up. And I'm also planning kind of an epic Halloween birthday start, which next time I film will probably be in a few weeks, which will be right after my birthday. And that's the plan there. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Take care of yourselves. Be brave, be strong, be true. And I look forward to seeing you next time.